Stand up.
Hello and happy Sunday, everybody. I've got a conversation I wanted to share with you because I was on Dean Obeidallah's show on SiriusXM on Friday night with another commentator named Tara Dublin. I thought it was a pretty good conversation. Sometimes it was, sometimes it wasn't. I tried to debunk what I thought and think are conspiracy theories, which is part of why I wanted to share this with you, because I thought there's a lot to be said here, and I think that we need to do as good of a job as we can to get to the truth, no matter what it is, whether it's convenient, whether we like it, whether we don't. So Dean Obeidallah, Tara Dublin, and I, that's what I've got for you here on a Sunday morning. Looks like I'll have J.L. Covan joining me tomorrow for a regular show. Everything's going okay here in upstate New York, where I am with my family. Mom is doing better. Thanks for asking. Thanks for all of your support. And now, here is my Sunday conversation. I'm calling it with Dean Obeidallah, Tara Dublin, which originally aired on SiriusXM on Friday night.
And great guy. Pete, good to see you, my friend.
Dean, yeah, I do. My face looks like a J6er ice agent, so I always wear Lululemon just to throw people off.
That's how you do? Is that a Lululemon top right now? I'm not even sure. I heard they're good. I should get some. I gotta get dirt on myself.
Gotta get it.
You know, it's funny that I don't know if you talk to people in immigrant communities or not. And Pete, I'm not sure if you're allowed to, but you know, for the rest of us, no, I've been, and this is not about me complaining. This is me sharing something that's actually true, because we're going to talk about first what's going on in Minnesota. About 3 times a year, I produce this comedy show in New York called the Big Brown Comedy Show. It's like the New York Arab Comedy Festival, but it's brown, so it's not just Arab. It's all different brown. And I do it on the Sunday night before MLK Day for the last 5 or 6 years. It sells out like instantly. It's not a big venue, 150 seats. We've only sold 40 tickets. And when I've talked to people, I've heard concerns that people don't want to gather in places with they're mostly immigrants and children of immigrants who come to this show. And it's the first time I've actually seen a concern. And Maysoon was pointing out, Pete knows Maysoon well, was pointing that out to me. And I'm like, wow, I didn't think about that. I'm hoping things change. But if ICE wants to come, there are a lot of seats available. I mean, I'll sell them tickets. It's not like I don't want them, so Tara, what do you think? Are we going to start seeing the real world impact of ICE causing terror in the immigrant community manifests in all different ways, not just Minnesota, but across this nation in different ways?
I really hope not, Dean. I really hope not. We should not be hiding. We should be pushing back. We should be out doing the things that make us Americans, which is going to work, going to school, being with our friends, being with our community. And in fact, now we need our communities more than ever. And I would say that what makes us Americans is our freedom of choice, right? So you can choose to hide. For me, that's not an option. For me, it's strengthening the ties with my community to stand up against Trump's Gestapo. That's what we're seeing. And we know what happened in the 1930s when people were like, I'm scared, I'm going to hide, it doesn't have anything to do with me. This is no longer a Republican or Democratic issue. This is a human rights issue. That's what this is, 100%. The United States government is not supposed to invade or attack the United States. Seems pretty basic. This never happened under a Democratic president, and I'm tired of watching Somalian bodies or other human bodies being used as distractions from the Epstein files. That's how everything started in Minnesota. Right. That is what is continuing. What we saw was straight up murder of Renee Good. I will never say anything different. We saw it on camera. Her last words were, I'm not mad at you, dude. He switched hands so he could put his phone in his other hand, take out his gun, and shoot her in the face 3 times. That was a choice he made, and then he called her a fucking bitch and walked away. We talk about the truth. We live in the truth. I want crowds of people showing up for your show so much that they can't get in because they're desperate for the truth and the truth that must be shared all the time, all day, every day. So do not hide from the truth. Scream it louder. That's what we have to be louder than MAGA every single day.
Pete, counterpoint?
I disagree with everything Tara said.
Thank you. Excellent. That's it. That's all Pete's going to say. I just want to be on record as disagreeing with everything Tara said.
I am on the side of the white supremacist ethnic cleansing project. I think it is going just as planned. I mean, we've got people that what's bad is that brown people of all backgrounds, Native Americans, anybody who's just slightly off baby hamster pink is likely to stay home. likely to stay home whenever they need to stay home. They don't want to go to they don't want to go to your show. They don't want to go to a comedy show mainly because you're performing, but also,
well, if it was just me, if I was headlining, it would be different. There's 11 comics in the show, so I'm not headlining. It's 11 comics. But if it was just my name, it would be fair to say they're using any excuse possible. Oh no, ICE is coming. I'm like, but you're born here. You never know. That's not what's happening. And there are a lot of, and the comics in the show are really good, but they're all brown. And we have a lot of immigrants. I've joked many times in the past how many are born in other countries and how many are here legally. And we laugh, but now it's not funny. Now those jokes are like, what? Do you work for ICE or something? Like which could be funny in its own way.
There's a huge chill effect. There's a chill effect across everything. I think that certain people in certain communities would rather not go outside. They want to go to and from work and just the, essential responsibilities. And even then, this is why, building off what Tara said now, seriously, one of the things that not only is silence complicity and every other quote and thing that Dr. King taught us, and that protests should be celebrated. His birthday, if it hasn't been canceled by Monday, will be celebrated. But we have to find ways, and there are plenty of organizations and movements and individuals who've created apps and networks and text chats to go to the grocery store, to go to the pharmacy, to do all that we can to run our own underground railroad to people, because I don't see these kinds of, borders and boundaries and blood and tribe. I mean, I see human beings, and I see human beings who are in need. And I think that's what we have to do, especially those of us who look like me.
True. Very, very much so. Yeah. I'm surprised on the right they don't have James Earl Ray Day to celebrate the person who killed Martin Luther King. Because I'm not even kidding. That would seem like over the top, but it's not anymore.
No, they have Confederate statues everywhere.
Right. I mean, I just talked to Clay Kane yesterday, who made the excellent point. He goes, the Confederacy was around for 4 years. Why do you need so many statues to honor something that was only around for 4 years?
That's funny.
I'm like, what a great point. Yeah. He wasn't even being funny. He was but I'm like, I could see the humor. So Tara, Governor Walz put out a video on Wednesday night, 6 minutes for the people of Minnesota. I've never seen an American governor make a plea to his state and to the president to stop attacking us. It's like something Zelensky would have done to Putin, let's say. That's how jarring it was. And there was one line from it I'll read. He said, let's be very clear. Long ago, this stopped being a matter of immigration enforcement. Instead, it's a campaign of organized brutality against the people of Minnesota by our own federal government. That line summed it all up. This is about brutality, oppression, and getting ready for something else. So where is the end game? Where is this going?
I wish I had an
answer
for that.
Talk radio, whatever you want.
It's insanity that this is happening in the United States of America. Period. That MAGA is celebrating the death of an American woman because Trump told them to. It's basically they're trying to rewrite the history that we're witnessing, and we're not going to let them do that. Just bottom line, we're not going to let them do that. And it's, like I've been saying, it's incumbent upon us to continue to tell the truth. You don't have to like the truth, but you need to fucking grow up and accept it. Donald Trump thrives on violence. MAGA is a death cult. They love violence because it distracts from what Trump is guilty of, right? So the new Sasha Riley interview that's out and circulating, that's why things have escalated so much this week. More distractions from Epstein rather than facing. We've only gotten a fraction of the Epstein files. DOJ has not released 99% of it. Instead of asking about that, they can now ask about ICE agents being brutalizing people on the streets because they're using human bodies as distractions from Epstein. So it always goes back to that. And so that's what we're talking about. And so what Trump is doing, he is not going to dial down the violence no matter what Tim Walz asks for.
Yeah.
They love this violence. They love the distraction. They love using Somalians. They love using black women as distractions. Anything to distract from Trump being in the Epstein files, especially now that we know he raped little boys as well as little girls. And apparently
Trump raped little boys?
What?
Oh, have you not seen the new
Sasha
Riley
that
interview?
Sasha Riley story is in no way been vetted responsibly, Tara. That is
yes, it has.
No,
yes,
I mean I just looked into it. If you can find reporting that's reliable, that is one of those stories.
His stuff has been online on Facebook and on Twitter.
Sasha Riley?
And how do I not know Sasha Riley was
Mm-hmm.
trafficked by his own adoptive father at the age of 6.
I believe this is a conspiracy, and I beg people to.
He has stories, and I beg people. He has a Facebook He has a Twitter. He has been public about this for years. I do not know why we're only learning about him, but a journalist sat him down for a 45-minute interview.
Which journalist?
Her name is, it fell out of my head. I'm so sorry.
Up,
she has a Substack.
Right.
If you go to Substack, boys are, it's like boys are easier.
Sasha Riley.
Sasha Riley, SASCHA, Sasha Riley.
Okay.
It's all over Instagram. It's all over Facebook.
Yeah, and it's an example of something that's not been vetted well, Tara. We should not talk about this anymore until we talk off the air.
It's just as bad as the Katie Johnson.
Yeah, but it's not. But these are
complaint that people also said was. I encourge people. Go ahead, do your own research.
People can look. Right, that's right.
But there are details
Pete
there.
makes a good point here. That they're not
match up with other accusations.
No, but I'm just saying, in the big picture, even whatever it is, it's important that we, even on the left, we have critical.
We are vetting
and look at the.
No, we aren't. This is not vetted.
But
Ellie Leonard, go to Ellie Leonard's Substack and go
through. Look. And I'm going to go look at it, and people should vet it. But whatever, you should vet anything from the government or anything, even if you don't know the source.
Yes, but unfortunately, Dean, people don't have any idea, including tons of people on the left that will fall for anything.
I know that.
Anything at all. We have become
people on the left send me Pete,
terrible.
Because I want to get to your very point, Pete. There are people on the left who send me things because it feels good. And I'm like, but what's the source? And they go, what do you mean? And I'm like, I'm not talking about the
You and I have come up in and around and in corporate media, and you and I have a higher threshold before we would say something that we haven't vetted. Also, you're a lawyer, even more.
Everything.
Right. But most importantly, you want to be as responsible as you possibly can, because just because something sounds like it probably happened. Just because, I've been duped so many times throughout my career and on live radio publicly, and it's bad. It's bad for your credibility. It's bad for your reputation. The truth matters. So we need to do a much better job.
I agree.
A much better, higher standard. To your question, Dean, you said, where is this all going?
Yeah, that's
my answer. My answer is fairly short, which is, I don't think Trump knows. I think that's important. I think it's a white supremacist ethnic cleansing project that could lead to, as a lot of people, everybody is saying, martial law in the streets so that he can withhold or delay or cancel the midterm elections so that he can maintain power. He's mentioned that a couple of times, obviously. I think that's going to fail, and I think what my biggest concern is that we as human beings are going to react to these videos, or when we see these ICE agents in person, we are going to be violent. We're going to return their violence, which only will escalate it, which only will make it worse. I know I want to be violent. I really want to be violent.
I understand, and that's why Governor Walz is pleading with people.
I can't.
Don't fall for it.
Right, don't fall for it. So that's my quick answer to the.
No, and I think in the big picture, I think it's a great answer that Trump doesn't know where it's going to go. He knows where the the station he wants to get to is staying in power forever, right? And no dissent whatsoever. If he can get rid of the election, he would get rid of the election. That's what we're dealing with. And just some point of reference for people, just so they know, ICE now has, with its new funding, has the highest funded federal law enforcement agency in America, twice the budget of the FBI. Yes, twice the budget of the FBI, and 10,000 troops. So, Tara, he doesn't have to federalize National Guard troops. He has an army, rapid reaction force of 10,000 heavily armed mass people who are loyal to him. This is what we have in the United States of America right now.
It's like they're recreating January 6th every single day, because it's one of the things that people are pointing out is suddenly the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys are awful quiet, and there's the sense that they may be masked up ICE agents.
Newly employed.
And there's a newly employed. They all get $50K for signing up. They get a bonus if they bring in bodies to get, extradited.
They don't have to vet them to see if they're motivated to attack brown people.
They can get hired in a minute. And there's a great word that I saw somebody use for these guys walking around acting like big boys: cosplatriot, because they're not trained. They didn't go to the police academy. They weren't trained by a federal agent. They were basically like, go shoot. And so they are recreating January 6th every single day on the street, which is why they try to rewrite the history of January 6th that they live streamed themselves. And now they're trying to rewrite the history of Renee Good's murder on January 7th that Jonathan Ross filmed himself. So it's one of those things where it's in this time of deep fake AI, witness testimony is going to be the thing that matters the most. Everybody's an amateur journalist now with their phones. So when you're on the street and you are filming the truth, you need to get it to get it out in the world as fast as possible before somebody can discredit it, before somebody decides to try to distract from it, or the way that they're trying to rewrite what we all saw. We know how Renee Good died, and we cannot let them rewrite it. They have a death Jones. I have never seen anything like this in my life. They deny every single one of his crimes, and they dig in deeper. They're celebrating her murder. They're saying she deserved it.
Anybody that stands in the way of ICE or the federal Gestapo doing its work is seen as standing in the way of or protecting violent undocumented immigrants. And that stands in the way of the white supremacist ethnic cleansing project. So when you keep coming back to that, it's really easy to understand how people take sides, because there's a humanity and empathy question that all of us need to ask ourselves. And I think that's more where the divide lies, you guys. It's more about humanity and empathy for your fellow man, for your neighbor, for anybody who might be working with and for you, than the other person who doesn't have that shared humanity. And I think those are the lines that we're falling down on. It's pretty gross. Listening to James Tallarico or Fugelsang or anybody else talk about the truth about Christianity, or obviously a more enlightened understanding of it, points to that difference in delineation. I think it's really key.
What kind of loving Christian celebrates a woman getting shot in the face 3 times?
Well, when you're not about the real Christian, right? I'm chatting with Tara Dublin and Pete Dominic. There was a couple stories that caught my eye for just the cruelty involved. The big picture, we see Renee Good could kill, but Native Americans are now getting caught up in this. And according to the Sioux Tribe leader from this area, he said, "We are first Americans. We're not undocumented immigrants." They took, according to him, 3 Native Americans. And when they said, "We want to give them back," they said, "Well, enter into an agreement with us so we can have access to your tribe," because it's a sovereign nation. So they're trying to they're taking people as hostages to force them, to blackmail them, to let them on the native land, because it's technically a sovereign nation. That's the deal with the treaty. It's not really adhered to the way it is by the United States government, but that's the point. So, Tara, you've got a shakedown now of Native Americans who are saying, "You took our people," and they won't say if they got them or not, but they go, "If you make a deal with us," I'm reading right from the Wall Street Journal reporting here. It said here, but they said to us, "If you enter into an agreement with us to allow them to have access to our lands, it would make it easier to arrest people and detain people who aren't supposed to be there." And they're like, "No, we're not. We just want our 3 people back. They're American citizens."
Oh, they were here first. Okay, Native Americans. They were here first. Okay, and no human is illegal on stolen land. Let's get that straight. And again, these cosplaying Nazi wannabes, they have been given more power than they deserve, right? They have not earned that power. They have not earned that status. If and it's like you said at the top of the show, they're going after anybody brown, anybody slightly melanated, anybody who isn't glaringly, shockingly white. And we have to be the ones there of this panel. 2/3 of us would be disappeared in the night. Because I'm a Jew,
which are the
you're
two?
Muslim, okay. So we have to.
People need the jailer. Look at how Pete is beaming.
I get to stay.
So it's seriously, it's people like Pete who have to stand up for people like
Pete,
us, because it's
we're dead. We're going to rely on Pete to save us. It's gone. Pete,
it's community. No, seriously, it's community.
No,
We're watching people show up for each other and say, "Fuck no, you're not taking our people. Right. Fuck no, you're not taking me out of my house. Fuck no, get off my property. Fuck you and fuck you and fuck you." That is the answer. The answer is fuck you.
Dean,
that's the answer to all of these Nazis is fuck you.
Pete's going to pontificate. Pete, by the way, before I wanted to get some other reaction, Pete, and you can touch on the Native Americans. I'm not sure if you saw the story today. Minnesota Star Tribune reported, so I have confidence it's true. ICE agents went to a Mexican restaurant to eat, which is just to terrorize the people there. And then when the restaurant closed, they followed 3 of them and arrested them.
Yeah.
And this sounds like a Tarantino movie with the Gestapo coming into like a Jewish deli in 1935 Germany, and everyone looking at them and going, "What are they going to do?" And they just eat slowly and they wait, and then they catch you when you leave. This level of cruelty, it is like cosplaying. It is dangerous. These are people who think they're above the law because they're told by J.D. Vance, "You have absolute immunity." So they feel that they do.
Yeah, and they're desperately trying their best to scare people, and they are. Let's be clear. A lot of people, especially those who are, vulnerable in that restaurant or somewhere else, are terrified. I mean, a lot of people for generations, certainly non-white people, have been terrified of police whenever they're in their neighborhood or in their space, in their place of business. In this case, so they're there to terrorize them, and we understand it's pretty easy to generalize about the psychology that one would need to have. A lot of these men, black and brown, by the way, as well, joining ICE. They're all Nazis as well, I think it's fair to say. But it's done to, and they're admitting it. There's a lot of reporting from people who have been detained. One guy, I said, they grab him off the street. I think it was a preacher of some sort. They put him in the car and he's like, are you scared? He's like, I'm not scared of you. And he came back later. He goes, are you scared yet? Like, what are we doing? What are you, 8? Like, this is what they're doing. I mean, earlier, I just want to address it because you insulted me. You said, if you're the one that we're waiting for, we're in trouble. And in fact, a tribal leader recently said to me, you are the one that we're waiting for. And to be fair, I was his Uber driver, but.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. I stepped on a joke because I was going to insert a joke.
You stepped on the punchline.
Sorry.
Oh, man.
I was going to ask, were you in an ICE uniform at the time, like usual? Like, he's like, you are the one. By the way, Tara, let me get a personal thing because you are Jewish. When you hear people make analogies, because I tried my best not to use the term Gestapo for ICE and Nazi references, but I got to a point where I'm like, if I'm not using that term, I'm gaslighting people about and underplaying how dangerous they are. But I don't want to be disrespectful to the Holocaust because that was a unique evil in humankind. So being Jewish, I mean, is there a line that you think? I mean, do we get to a point where you trivialize the Holocaust, or do you think we need to use those terms now?
You're not trivializing the Holocaust by comparing ICE to the Gestapo because they're using the same exact tactics. And you're not trivializing it either when Kristi Noem is standing up at a podium with the Nazi slogan in front of it. You're not trivializing it at all. They are employing Nazi tactics. They are taking things exactly from Hitler's playbook and employing them on our streets. And everyone's like, shrug. They are fucking Nazis, pulling people from their houses, demanding to see their papers. That is straight up Gestapo shit. So it is stop Trump's Gestapo. That's one of the many things that I'm saying. And I will say it with all of the Jewish breath in my Jewish body.
Oh, wow. I didn't know there was going to be so much Jewish breath here today.
There's so much Jewish breath, and I've only had one cup of coffee.
Is your producer Jewish too, Dean? Oh, man.
Look out. We're taking over the media, don't you know?
I don't think my producer's Jewish, but I don't really do a religious test, Pete. I'm sorry.
I don't know. But the point is, call them Nazis more.
Okay, so it's fine to call them Nazis. So what do we call CBS? So CBS reported that
Nugan Press.
Jonathan Ross, the ICE agent who murdered Renee Good, had some kind of internal bleeding, and he was treated in a hospital. And the reporting came out today, leaked emails that CBS internal journalists were like, don't run this because it's anonymous sources. But Barry Weiss wants to do it to help it. And to undermine it more now, the New York Times reported today, a lot of people reported on the transcripts of the police and fire from Minneapolis, and they talked, I'll read right from the New York Times reporting. Jonathan Ross was still on the scene, according to a report from Minneapolis Police Department. About 15 minutes later, he was taken to, wait for it, a federal building, not a hospital. There's not even any indication.
They might have had an internal bleeding. They might have had an internal bleeding office at that federal building.
Right.
Some lot of them have it.
But at the same time, there's nothing in the record. I've not seen it, but I looked at a bunch of reporting that said he was in distress, which is a usual thing. If you get hurt, you're in distress, they're in pain.
He wasn't hurt.
CBS, in this case, the BS stands for bullshit now. I don't know who said it, but it's great.
Mickey Glazer, CBS.
Is it her? Yeah. I mean,
she did
the bottom line is they have to, in this case, a journalist has to be able to have evidence of an injury. And so the journalist says, we would like to see at least that he was admitted to a hospital. And if they want to, and it would be in their interest, if there was an injury, they would release the medical report, not unlike, Trump's, but they don't want to be transparent. So they don't release that. So, CBS reporting that is just propaganda. It's just reporting what the government tells them to do. Although I do believe that Jonathan Ross had internal bleeding more than I believe that Sasha Riley story as of yet, because there's more evidence, because I saw a video and the reporting back to, Tara bringing that up. I want to talk about that all day long. If I am wrong, by the way, I would be more than happy to admit.
We're not going to get back in a fight over that.
The threshold, this is a question about journalism. CBS reporting Jonathan Ross. CBS should not have reported that. This is a conversation about how journalism is done. It's not that hard if you study journalism just a little bit.
Well, and also,
quick thing, Tara. They relied on anonymous sources. How many times has Donald Trump slammed anonymous sources? They should not be allowed to say anonymous sources, but when it serves their interest. And we call it their hypocrisy for our sanity. Not to change them, not to shame them. So go ahead, Tara. Sorry.
No. It's, to the point, this particular story, it's a lot of rewriting after the fact, which is also what they've done with January 6th, what they've done with Epstein. It's, what if we try this idea? Say he had internal bleeding. No, he didn't. Her car did not touch him. Nothing happened to him physically. It is a lie. Call it a lie because it is a lie. Any distraction, right? Barry Weiss is a liar. She's a traitor to the United States. She follows me on Twitter. I go after her every day. She follows me on Twitter, and I call her a liar. I call her a liar and a traitor because she is. Use the words. They are traitors. His Gestapo are Nazis. Kristi Noem belongs in prison. Say the words that are true.
No, Kristi does belong in prison.
Okay? All of these things are
impeached.
true. You don't have to like the truth. She's going to get impeached. They're doing nuclear option with that. But it is incumbent upon us, even if nobody answers us, continue to ask these questions. Why did you do this? Why did you say that? Why did you do this when we have the evidence of this? Right. And you keep asking those why questions, other people are going to pick that up too.
Right.
She's a liar. Why is she lying?
Pete, let me ask a quick question here. We're both, all three of us, very worked up. People calling my show, I'm sure people interacting with you, Pete, worked up about what we're seeing, what ICE is doing. Yeah. We find it horrible and vile. Quinnipiac poll this week, nearly 85% of Republicans approve of what ICE is doing. How do we coexist? If you have a whole movement that is fine with killing Renee Good, with terrorizing people, brown and black people? And I think it's your point earlier, Pete. It is about the preservation of white supremacy. So anything's acceptable. And I think that you really boil it down to its essence there, which explains this.
Yeah, if your question is how do we coexist, I think that I never want to give up on finding a shared humanity. I think the problem is it's really hard when we don't have a shared truth. So when these people believe that the election was stolen and they ran up the Capitol walls to get arrested and go to jail. They believe that. They believe all kinds of things. And now increasingly people on the left will believe anything. Look at just the issues around vaccines and the questions that's created. So I'm always focused on where people are getting their information and knowing who to trust and credibility and reputation, because if we could agree to some extent on what the greatest threats to us, our health, our security are, then we could find more common ground, shared humanity. But at the same time, you can't change a white supremacist very easily. And we also have to stop, we have to stop them from being radicalized. And that, of course, is incumbent on El Blancos, the whites.
El Blancos. All right, let's take a break and come back. And Tara, we're going to talk about the TJ Sabalo, the Ford line worker calling Trump a pedophile protector. And I think Tara's going to love this because it invokes Epstein. So let's take a quick break, come back with more of the Dean Obeidallah Show and what just happened right after this. And welcome back, Dean Obeidallah Show. It's still what just happened. And still Tara Dublin and Pete Dominic are here. So Tara, it's apparently called Trump a pedophile protector and get $800,000. I am dying to scream at every moment I ever see Trump. And this happened at the Ford plant. Trump went to visit, and TJ Sabalo, if I might be pronouncing his name, literally yelled loud enough for Trump to hear, pedophile protector. And Trump mouthed the words F you twice and gave him the finger. Sabalo gets suspended, at least temporarily. And he tells Washington Post, no regrets whatsoever. And people have now rewarded him with $800,000+, which are his. There's no crimes. He can get it. It's not like there's any limit on GoFundMe for this stuff. So what's your take on this?
Donald Trump is a pedophile.
Okay.
Can I have $800,000 now, please? I can't pay my February rent. It's fine. Donald Trump isn't really, yes, he's a pedophile protector because he's protecting his fellow pedophiles. They're all buddies. All of them who went to Epstein Island. All of them are good for him. Thank you, TJ. That's fucking patriotism is what it is. There are things that I have said those things about him all the time. He blocked me 10 years ago on Twitter. I have a decade of insults. Where's my money? Where's my GoFundMe? I was harassed. I've been cyber harassed. I had to move. I lost my house. I have been traumatized by MAGA. Where's my $800,000?
Terry, you just need to start a GoFundMe. I feel like that's what we need to do right now. We should just aggregate all of Tara's and start a GoFundMe.
I have a decade of shit. Okay.
I love, by the way,
I have been living with this. And by the way, proudly, I am proud. I would rather live on the street than take one penny to lie about Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Right? That's also a delineation between people's character. That's right. Like, I'd give up all of my money if Kamala Harris could be president because.
Really?
She I would have all 12 of my dollars.
I would be making a homeless person.
I would. But I love the United Auto Workers defending their, first of all, shout out to the Vice President, Laura Dickerson, who said in a statement, workers should never be subjected to vulgar language or behavior by anyone, including the President of the United States.
It's so typical.
And she said that they believe in freedom of speech, a principle we wholeheartedly embrace. We stand with our membership in protecting their voice on the job. And TJ, the guy who said it, called Trump a pedophile protector. I'm trying to find the exact quote, but it was something like, listen, it's not too often that you get an opportunity in your life to do what's right, and you have to seize that moment. And I just love that.
That's right.
Love it.
That's fucking patriotism. That's what that is. He is a patriot, and he deserves every good thing. And let's all remind everybody, Joe Biden loves a union. Joe Biden stood with striking auto workers.
Overwhelmingly Democrats have.
Every time. So Donald, that is the energy. Everybody should be TJ.
Everywhere he goes, he should be. TJ may have started. He's like the Rick Santelli of this moment. When Rick Santelli, one of the first people to say a tea party screaming about CNBC. Well, what if this guy, everywhere Trump goes, people will yell at him and say pedophile protector, chant pedophile protector,
or just pedophile,
and to every other Republican, but like a couple, Thomas Massey and a couple, they're all pedophile protectors too, and every right wing media pundit who's still protecting him. All pedophile protectors. I said it on CNN.
That is right.
Guardians of pedophile. That's what we call the GOP.
That's the energy.
So you have TJ, this kind of moral stance, and then the flip side is Venezuela opposition leader Maria Machado goes to the White House and gives up her Nobel Peace Prize award to Donald Trump, and then goes on Fox News to say how it was an emotional moment and she did it. And so, Pete, Trump's got a secondhand Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, would you take that? Like, it's a hand-me-down. I don't really know that it doesn't count for anything. But
would I take it? I would take it. But I would take a
picture of how happy he was.
I would take a trophy from a kid's, somebody's. I'll take any gift or sell it. But I won't say that I earned it. I mean, back in military school, when our President General Fatton was in military school as a teenager, when it came time to take the class picture, he borrowed another kid's jacket who had all the medals for the class picture. This is reported out in a recent book by Washington Post reporter Caroline Lenig. And it's crazy. I mean, I think that's the right book. But so he's always taken this is another weird feature of a personality. Like, I don't know too many people who do this, but like worn somebody else's jersey, pretended to be somebody else for the accolades. It's stolen valor of medals. And in this case, he's going to take a Super Bowl ring and say that he played. That's the difference. He'll say that they gave it to him. The Nobel Committee had to come out and be like, you can't do that.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, on some level, Tara, does it make you look at this Maria Machado differently?
Yes, but a good point.
I think you're going to see Trump leaving Venezuela alone now because he got everything he wanted. He got the oil. And he got his participation trophy. Good little boy, Donald, go home now. What a fucking child. Give me your trophy. I want it. What a fucking baby. Honestly. How embarrassing. Like, I know MAGA can't be embarrassed. No. They can't be shamed, but then maybe they can be embarrassed. That's embarrassing. Give me your trophy or I'll bully you more for your trophy. It is
and then pretending
different.
you won it though. Imagine pretending. Imagine
it's stealing the milk money and then saying, "Hey, everybody, I'm going to take you out for pizza. I earned this money." He is a child. He's an overindulged child, and he wore her down. She was
what
like,
did
"Fine,
she get?
you fucking child."
But what did she get? She
Fine.
got nothing. She doesn't get anything out of it. She's just disgracing herself. She's prostrating herself and getting nothing. So many people have knelt at his ring and got nothing back.
You know what she gets, though? She gets him leaving her alone now. He's going to leave her alone now. That's what she gets.
But she wants him to install her as
of
her
course
party
she
as
does.
leader.
It's not going to happen.
But she looks so pathetic now. She looks so. I mean, Pete. She doesn't look like a world leader. She looks like a pathetic groveler. She's actually going up to a man to help her get imposed or her party get installed as leader because she's about democracy. At the same time, Trump is suppressing Americans with brute force in Minnesota.
I mean, she'll always go down as I don't know anything about this woman and her history in Venezuela, but she will always go down as. At first, I thought it was clever of her to try to appease him to when she first did that, I was like, oh, that's an interesting strategy. But now I've read more about it, know enough. And in this case, she'll go down as someone who gave the Nobel Peace Prize to a man who was attacking his own people. And before we get to the foreign imperialism, and whether it be Iran or Venezuela or potentially Greenland, like attacking his own people, he is not a peaceful person. Everybody knows it. So she'll be remembered as that.
I know. It's remarkable. And then the good thing is Jimmy Kimmel did a funny thing. I'm not sure. Where he put out all his, like, the crappier awards and said, I'm going to give these to Donald Trump if you have ICE leave Minnesota. And one was a 2015 Soul Train Award for White Person of the Year, which I assume was a joke. It was very funny. Got a big laugh online. But look, I mean, Jimmy Kimmel trying to use humor to make this point is important because we get so angry now. Sometimes it's hard. Pete, I mean, you still do stand up, of course. Yep. It can be hard. Do you have to shift gears in your brain to go from like where we are and the stakes being as high they are to be like, let's have fun, folks. It's time to have a good time.
I mean, when I'm doing stand up, I try to avoid topical stuff these days. I hate to have to do it, but I'd rather just make fun of myself, my own insecurities, living in the 25th century, whatever year it is. And, but so I because you can't, people come to laugh and to get away from the news, and then obviously dividing an audience is it's just no fun. So I'm happy to just do that. But in terms of just satire in general, how important it is, we have to be able to do it everywhere all the time. And I think that we're winning on that front. I think that we're not cowering on that front. I think we won some major, major battles in that war over the past 6 months to a year.
I agree. And did you say the 25th century, by the way?
I'm just trying to.
It just feels like that.
One of the jokes is I never know what century it is. It's really not very divisive.
That's a good point because
very not divisive.
21st century, right? Is that it's always the one that's after, like something like that? I'm chatting with Pete Dominic and Tara, our friend. So Tara, let's talk about Donald Trump saying the first again this week, and you guys touched on it earlier, that floating the idea of no elections, and Caroline Leavitt defending it is a joke. See, that's funny.
Oh, he's so funny.
Oh, good night. She literally defended, and she lashed at the reporter and goes, how dare you make this so serious? He was joking when he said, and his exact quote is, because he had done so well, he goes, quote, when you think of it, we shouldn't even have an election. It's the comedic timing, right? It's the irony part. The guy who attempted a coup and now saying no election. That's funny. What do you think, Tara?
Nothing about this is funny. He's not funny. He doesn't have a sense of humor. He doesn't smile. He never laughs. He has no friends, and he has no joy. He does this he's floating this so that he sees what the reaction is. He's testing that water.
Yep.
He's like, do you want me to be a dictator forever? And Morgan's like, yes! Should we cancel the election? Yeah! No.
Can I run again?
Shouldn't. It's a bad idea. Bad idea. We're all hoping he doesn't have a pulse by November, but should he still be with us? No, we have elections because we're supposed to be a free and fair country. You fucking piece of shit. And we already know he stole the 2016 election. We know he stole the 2024 election. You can't win fairly. Keep telling us that you can't win fairly, because someone who's not afraid of a challenge would be like, have that election. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to charm everybody.
Did you say he stole the 2024 election? The last election, he stole it? You don't think he won?
He sure did. Oh, God fucking no. He did
There
not
are a
win
lot
this
of
election.
questions. Let's not do
Elon
rabbit hole.
told us.
Oh,
We're not going to go
not
down
another.
there, but
That's
no.
another
But
conspiracy theory.
Pete, let me ask you this
It's-
here. Stop. Let's talk about this here. He said to the Reuters, it's some deep psychological thing, but when you win the presidency, you don't win the midterms. And he's saying Republicans keep saying that to him. Do you think they're not telling him how unpopular he is and that he's deluded to think everybody loves me, as opposed to he's such a failure as president? That's why they lose the
Sundowning
midterms.
Paw.
So I wonder if they're telling him, look, it's not you, it's history. It always had. No, you're doing the greatest job ever. So he's like, why even have an election? I'm doing such a great job. What do you think?
I think he has no idea. I think he absolutely has no idea. I mean, we knew from the first time he was president, sadly, that they just give him clips and news articles of positive things about him. And then people just get popular and he just talks to people, tell them what he wants to hear. And now it's way worse than that. It's all sycophancy. And he has no idea what people want or desire in anything in his life. So, I mean, the guy lives in his own universe and we unfortunately have to live here with him in control of it. But he has no clue how bad things are. I mean, I think that the best way to answer this is he said COVID was going to go away. I absolutely think he believed it. He thinks he can will things to happen. And he said, the only thing that can stop him is his own morality. Remember? Like he thinks he is.
Which doesn't exist.
Powerless. Yeah, I was surprised he knew that word, actually.
Michael Cohen talked to me about that. Michael Cohen, just funny, Pete, you said that. Michael Cohen talked about how Trump was a really subscriber to this idea if you wish it enough and want it enough, it'll happen.
Yeah.
And he's had some success in life so that he can go he's had a lot of failures too. But if you only think about the successes, he might think it's working. So, I mean, does that explain Tara? He said, keeps talking about Greenland, just keeps saying about Greenland over and over. And
his brain is gone. I mean, his brain is rancid tapioca pudding full of stale raisins. He falls asleep standing up at press conferences. He is gone. His brain is mush.
Yeah, but I think that, Tara, can I just say, I think when we say that, I agree with you, but I think that when we say that, we lose, it makes him seem like he's got dementia, which could all be true. But what matters is his brain is malignant narcissist. And yes, it's gone, but every motivation. So I wonder if you agree with that or not. But I want to start there before I get to dementia. I want to start with malignant narcissist thinks he can wish things and then get to dementia.
That's the secret. That's a philosophy that people do use, to be honest. But go ahead, Tara. Sorry.
Right. Well, it's a cover your ass tactic, right? It's, I can float this. If it doesn't work, then I can distract with something else. I mean, he's doing the taco thing, right? So the taco nickname works for him because when something doesn't work, he can blame it on something else. When something fails, it's always somebody else's fault. He never takes responsibility and he believes the last thing someone just told him. So, if somebody whispered in his ear, hey, you know what? They found out chickens can talk. He would go out and say that. He would.
Dean, you're saying that we all practice creative visualization. The difference, this ties my 2 points together. We can all try to create the destiny that we hope for in our lives and do everything we can. But generally, most of us aren't malignant narcissists. So I'm trying to create a community that is safe and vibrant. He's trying to take everybody's shit. So that, and the point is, he's won so much in his life.
I know.
That it does work because he just keeps taking and taking and taking and hurting. And that's his way of getting what he wants. Commit crime, sue the victim.
Right. Exactly. And that's his tactic for his entire life. I mean, we are constantly, his whole life is one grudge fuck against the entire world. That's
by the way, my band Grudge Fuck is playing. I should thank you, Tara, for the plug.
Oh man.
Yes.
Are you opening for the
band?
Are you opening for the Circle Jerks?
No,
the Circle Jerks.
No, we got bumped.
So look at where we are as a country. We have Trump is declaring war on Minnesota. He's proud of it. I mean, he wants to bring the military out. At the same time, our NATO allies are putting troops in Greenland to dissuade Donald Trump from attacking that. This is where we are, and there's so much else. But I'm saying in this week, so we've got Denmark, Germany, France, Sweden, Norway have sent troops, and apparently Britain's going to send one officer. That's what I read, because they're having military games the same way China does to taunt Taiwan, but in this case, it's the other way around. They're doing it to tell Trump, don't invade a NATO ally. This is where we are as a country. How effed up is this?
To be fair, by the way, the Swedish and Norwegian troops do only have broadswords. I'm not sure how much of a threat that
It's like a Game of Thrones. There's a dragon. They do have a dragon, though.
They have a dragon.
Oh, that'd be amazing. If they just renamed Greenland to Epstein Island, Trump would lose interest.
That's right. That's I like that. What was we were joking about that we've never seen him this worked up over an island since Epstein Island.
I'm sorry. Did you just tell me that the Greenland they have a dragon? They have well, we need a dragon. We've got to have a dragon.
We can have a dragon.
It's the most spectacular dragon ever, the likes you have never seen before.
It's white,
beautiful orange dragon. It's an orange dragon.
It's a white dragon.
But defeating us, look, Tara, in the media, they respond to Trump saying things like, if we don't take Greenland, that Russia and China are going to take it. And they respond with facts saying, well, it's a NATO ally. We'd have to go to war with them. And people say that. And he's like, but we got to take it. And then the media reports, well, he was insistent on taking it. Like, I don't know. He'll just keep repeating it. Maybe it goes back to that manifestation thing.
Just like the Nobel Peace Prize. Give it to me. It's mine. Gimme. It's like the book Mary Trump wrote about him, Too Much and Not Enough. He is never going to be satisfied. Right. You give him an inch, he tries to take the whole planet. So that's why you need to fucking stop him. The Epstein files, they have not released 99% of the Epstein files. They will always come back to that. Everything that he is doing is a distraction from Epstein. And it makes me want to peel all the skin off of my face because everybody knows that everything that he is doing is to try to make us stop talking about the Epstein files, and we're not gonna.
Yeah,
we are not gonna stop talking about it.
I pulled all my.
A lot of this has to do with Epstein files.
Yes, I think everything is.
I think a lot of it. Absolutely, I think two things can be true. Absolutely, they're trying to come up with every distraction, but they would be doing it anyway, because that's what they always does. That's what he does, is flood the zone. So, I mean, the invasion, so maybe they pulled the trigger on Venezuela sooner, but no, reporting suggests they were going to do it weeks before, but they were waiting for the weather. So, who knows? It's fair to say that it's both of them. It is a distraction. When you see video after video of innocent people being attacked in the streets, it is going to distract us from but Congress and the media together can continue to keep this, as Tara does every time she speaks, in the forefront. We do need to keep doing this, and we do need to have ways to force those files to come out and keep it in the forefront of everybody's minds. And it hasn't been for the past couple of weeks. There hasn't been anything new. There hasn't been anything new out of the Epstein files, though, either, I think.
They won't release anything.
You don't need anything new. You just need to release them.
And I agree, but in this news cycle, you kind of do to get people.
That just for that. But before we run out of time, Tara, where can people follow you? Are you at Epstein.com? Like, where can people release Epstein.com? Tara Donnelly?
All I care about is the truth. I have just created a new website, TaraDublin.rocks.com, mainly to sell my book, The Sound of Settling a Rock and Roll Love Story. But all of my social links are there as well. Great. So if you're feeling political, you can click those. If you're feeling like you just want to read a nice little rock and roll love story with a lot of fun sex and rock and roll and stuff in that, you can get that too at TaraDublinRocks.com. And I have a question for you, but I don't know if we have time for it, but let Pete plug himself.
And Pete, you
already did it.
IceRules.com?
I was actually plugging myself while Tara was talking. No offense, Tara.
Where are you, my friend?
But as soon as she said there was something about sex in it, I began.
Everything changed.
Daily podcast.
I'll send you a copy.
Looking forward. Daily podcast. You can find me on Substack and YouTube at Stand Up with Pete. But check out my daily podcast where I talk to smart people every day.
You were great. In fact, I'm going to be on Pete's show Monday.
That's right.
I want to be on Pete's show. I'm a smart person.
Tara, I will have you on the debate, the conspiracy theories that I disagree with you on.
Excellent. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. Come back with more of the show after this. And that's the end. Thank you, guys. That was a very spirited conversation.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. If you listened all the way to the end, let me know what you think. If you didn't, then you're not hearing this, and so I don't know why I would say if you didn't. But I can't do this without your support. But really, this was mostly a SiriusXM production that I just wanted to share with you because I had a lot to say. I hope you liked it if you did. And if not, then I totally understand. All right, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Love you. Be good. Be the change you want to see. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Let the brave meet the challenge. Let the weak flee. Boy, you better stand up. Stand up. When you're tired of begging, saying pretty please, that's the time you gotta finally get up on your knees.
forest for the burning trees. You got to stand up. Hey, you've been sitting so long, you got the creaky knees. You got to stand up. Stand up. I think you're driving wheels with leaking grease. Boy, you better stand up. Stand up. Well, there's a whole lot more of us who know what's right. They'll keep right on ignoring us if we keep sitting tight. You got to open up the window to let in some light. You got to stand up. That's right. You got to rise up. You got to stand up. You got to stare the devil straight in the eye. We got to let him know it's his turn to go. See it clear when all you hear is a lie. So get up off of your butt, down off of your fence. Even if it ain't a very friendly audience, well, they'll begin to listen when you start making sense. And you stand up. Stand up. No need to point your rifle to defend your town. Just stand up. Stand up. You know they can't deny you what you're laying down. Oh, you better stand up. Stand up. Show your face of every color, yellow, black, red, and brown. She's the place where every lost child will finally be found. There's only one thing to do before we stand our ground, and that's stand up. Stand up. Well, the founding fathers saw a land for all. They had to stand up. They had to stand up. They had a keen imagination for a crystal ball, drawing all the plans of stand up. But all they had to go on was the time they were in, with other causes for loss, and since they weren't in sin, they knew that change was gonna come before the change would begin. They had to stand up. All right, they had to stand up. We got to stand up. We got to look the devil square in the eye. We gotta let him know it's his time to go, and make it clear when all we hear is a lie. Why you lying awake wondering where the money all went? It'll be the cost of freedom that'll go unspent. You can see him flee the scene of that experiment if you stand up. All right. We got to speak up, we got to reach up, and raise your voice in every way you know how. Don't be toes up, you got to show up. Ain't no better time to do it but now. No need to pledge allegiance to no wanton tribe. Rise up, show obedience to the voice inside, and listen well and it'll tell you not to run and